What's up, family? What's up? What's up? Come, welcome to today's live. We are here today on another session of our 21-day challenge, um, our action challenge for 2025. Welcome. I'm glad you're joining tonight. I'm glad you're with me on this live. I want you to take a minute and share this with someone. Welcome to our live. Welcome to our action challenge for 2025. Take a minute, share this live with someone. We're going to kick it off in less than 5 minutes. And today, I'm hoping again, we're not going to be long. We want to make this less under 30 minutes. So please share this with someone. Let someone know that we are hanging out here tonight. I hope you had a wonderful Sunday. And if you're watching, just, the keyword is action 2025. So I just want you to type that in the chat. And I want to encourage you to go on YouTube. So I'm going to share the live link as well. Please go on YouTube. Follow us on YouTube. That's where we're going to get the best interaction. So we want you to, if you're watching, watch live on YouTube. So please do that. Take a minute, share. We're going to kick off in under 5 minutes. I have an interesting issue I want to discuss today. It's really been on my heart all day, all night. I am so excited to share this, and I want you to invite someone. It's going to be amazing. So let's do this. If you're watching live, join us. Just let us know. Action. Share with someone. Take a minute to share. That's what I'm doing right now. So we're going to just do that as we get ready to jump on here. I know my people on Facebook. I know you guys enjoy Facebook. Let us try to watch on Facebook and on YouTube, preferably on YouTube. So I'm just taking a minute to share. If you're coming and joining us live, thank you so much. Just share this link with someone so they can watch with us. So they can be a part of this amazing journey which we have going on. I see some people watching on YouTube. On YouTube, that's great. Thank you. If you're on YouTube, just type and say action 2025, action. Yes, I'm seeing my people coming on. Thank you. Yes, YouTube, it's where it's at. Let's try to make sure that we are on YouTube. We're gonna start in 2 minutes. So let's just take a minute and share the link with someone so they can watch with us, so they can be a part of what's going on here. Someone can recommend some good music. If you like music in the background, feel free to do so. I love music myself, but I hope the clean, no music sound is not of any bother. But I think right away I'm going to jump into our conversation, into our topic for today, which I'm very excited about. And I do hope you had a wonderful Sunday for those who go to church. I hope you had a great time at church. For those who hang out with family, I hope you had a great time with family as well. For those who did both, kudos to you. I hope you had a great, great day. And I hope you've been also watching the other videos we have done. Today we are on day 5 of our Action 2025, getting ready for 2025. What steps do we need to take? How do we need to prepare for 2025? I hope someone is going back and watching and taking action on the things that we have talked about and on all the videos. We've given so many great tips so that everyone is ready for the new year. And one of the big things that we've talked about is that every day leading up to the new year is our preparation. And that's why we're doing this, so that we don't just wake up into 2025 and be like, oh, what am I doing in 2025? No, we want to really set ourselves up to take action in 2025. So that is what we've been up to the last couple of days. And we're going to be continuing this all the way to December 25th. We're going to be continuing all the way to December 25th. So I want you to hang with us, hang tight. And the days after December 25th, you're really going to have time to cool off and get ready for 2025. So today, I have on my heart to share the power of your story in 2025. Listen, this is amazing for me. It's like mind-blowing when I had this in my mind, in my heart today when I was thinking on what to share. I was so just engrossed in this, thinking about how our story in 2025 is going to be the key to our next level. So I want to see yourself, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a pastor, if you're a leader, if you're a student, if you are whatever it is, a business person, a mom, a husband, a wife, whatever sphere of life you are in, I want you from this moment to start thinking about your story. When people die, things are written about them, their biographies and all of those things. But think about the fact that if you could start documenting your story right now, how intentional would you be? If you could start documenting your struggles, your successes, your ups and your downs, the mistakes, the lessons, how powerful could that be? That just blew my mind. And I got this inspiration for today's discussion from watching a video yesterday, a Tony Robbins video. I was watching one of his TED Talks yesterday, and he said when he was 17 years old, when he was younger than 17, a stranger on Thanksgiving walked up to their home, knocked at their door, and gave them free food. And in that moment, his dad had been drinking, abusive and, into all forms of vile. In that moment, his dad looked at the situation and said, oh, these people despise me. These people think I'm nothing. They're looking down on me. That's why they're coming to give me free food. And his father walked away from the house. In his mind, he processed it as people are genuinely kind. And because people are kind, somebody could just walk up to you and give you something and be generous to you. And in his mind, he was like, wow, he took the food, he enjoyed it for Thanksgiving, and then he made up his mind that people are nice and people are kind and people can genuinely offer you help or, lend you a hand, and he was going to do the same. So when he grew up, when he turned 17, he decided to start handing food. He said he was going to feed somebody. So I think he gave 1 plate of food. The next year, he doubled it to 2. The next time he doubled it to, he increased it to 3. He would give a free plate of food to people at Thanksgiving just because someone shared food with him. And he processed it as a random act of kindness. And when he got to about 8 plates of food giving out, he figured, okay, I'm not going to be able to carry this burden by myself. He shared the vision with other friends. They came alongside him, and he built companies. And as at the time where he was sharing that TED talk, that was, I think, 12 years ago, they had given food to about 1 million people on Thanksgiving. And when I heard that, something resonated inside of me, and I was like, wow. His story touched me. Not because I don't have food, I don't have, someone came and gave me food and I was appreciative. No. But because of his story, he was able to take action. Because of what he went through, he was able to take action and do something amazing with it. And in that moment, I was like, oh my goodness. This man's life changed in a moment. This man's experience led him to take action, and which changed the trajectory of his life and his story and the lives of many other people. And I was so impacted, including mine. He said a lot of things in his TED talk. It was about 23 minutes. But the one most impactful thing that I left with was how he could transform his experience into a powerful story that transformed and touched the lives of others. And I was like, the power of our story. Because that was his story. He shared everything that he was sharing. But the one thing that I got out of was his story. And that's why I wanted to come and share that with you today. And just tell you that on this journey of 2025, of Action 2025, it's going to be incredible. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be a time of transformation for you. You're going to have an epiphany. Your life will change. Your life will change if you can take some time and process your story. I think about another story right now as I'm sharing this, and I really didn't think about this ahead of time. But I thought about one of the famous boxers, a mixed martial arts fighters. He's of Cameroonian descent, Francis Ngannou. And he shares the story of how they used to carry sand, and for buildings and transport them from one place to the other and sell. And he uses that, I think, just because I didn't think about this story ahead of time, but I thought about it right now as I was sharing Tony Robbins' story. But I think there was a time where he decided that he was going to go back and just donate a truck or something, but do something. And when he remembered the humble beginnings that he came from, I think that impacted him when he traveled to Italy and other places. What am I saying? You have a story. You have something that is unique to you that can resonate with me. I've never met Tony Robbins. I've not been hungry on Thanksgiving Day and I didn't have food. But just the fact that he shared that story, it resonated with me in a different way. So what is my message today? If there is only one thing that you take in this 21 days, is that there is power in your story. If you will pay attention to it, if you're going to give it a listening ear, if you're going to take the time to think deep and look deep into your life at the things that have affected you, they could be difficult things, they could be positive things, they could be successes. But how you process it is going to determine how you're going to take action in 2025. Tony Robbins talks about how his dad looked at that action as disrespectful. He looked at that action as being ridiculed, snobbish, and he walked out on their family. But Tony Robbins looked at it as, wow, people are genuinely kind and people are genuinely generous. And that translated into his mind as he can go and do the same. So the first thing is to harness the power of your story. It will greatly depend on how you view the experiences that you have encountered in your life. If you look at them as bad, as demeaning, as terrible, as shameful, that's a big word. I want you to remember that word, shameful. If you look at them as shameful, it's going to hold you back. But if you look at it, your story, and say, I overcame this. This happened. And it didn't break me. I survived this. I went through this. I learned from this. This is good. This is not all that bad. This can encourage someone. That perspective will help you to take massive action in 2025. Because the next year, it was at the age of 17 that he started. He was young, he was still a teenager, and he carried that on through for years and years. And I believe he's still doing it. So for us to have sustainable momentum in our goals, in our purpose, in our life, we have to harness the power of our stories. What have you overcome? How did you overcome? If you're still living, you overcame something. Who can this be of help to? When you begin to think about your story, your life in that light, it's going to form your story. And when you're able to form your story, and then you make up your mind that these things are worth, you are worth it. These things did not break you. These things made you. And you have become someone of value. Then you're going to use those experiences to translate value in the lives of other people. So the first thing is that when you harness the power of your story, it's going to create in you resilience. You're going to be able to understand and look at yourself and say, okay, if I overcame this, then I'm going to be able to overcome again. So that's the first part, because I think yesterday or the day before yesterday, we're talking about self-discipline. So for you to have sustained self-discipline, you think about, for example, areas where you fell, areas where you struggled, and then you overcame. You're going to know that, hey, how I felt, I don't want to go back there. And so I'm going to have to continue to be self-disciplined. I'm going to continue to, press on, because I don't want that feeling of hopelessness that I used to have, of regret, of, being overwhelmed that I used to have. So I'm going to push forward with my goals. It's very, very important, because that's what's going to sustain you. That's what's going to keep you going in the long term. So first thing is that understanding your story, understanding your challenges, understanding, the things that you've overcome, writing them down, processing them. Most people try to shut their past. They try to shut it off. And if you try to live that way, you're not going to be able to harness the power of your story. You cannot shut it off. You have to take it all in. You have to receive it. You have to accept it, because those things make you. The second thing is that when you're able to do that, you're going to be able to build authentic connections with people. So we're talking about taking action. Taking action in what? If you're a pastor, and maybe you want to improve yourself in your services, or you want to improve your communication with people, think about how sharing your story can make people to connect with you more. Think about the fact that sharing your story can make the people to feel like, oh, pastor is human. Pastor is not a superman. You get more, you can influence the lives of people more by them connecting with your story than you just reading scriptures and coming and saying, thus says the Lord. But if people can see that, wow, you overcame this, if people can see that, wow, our pastor is authentic, or, this, my mentor, my coach, my teacher is authentic, you build lasting, authentic relationships. And the truth is that for you to stay long in the game, whether it's business, whether it's ministry, mentoring, coaching, whatever it is, there has to be vulnerability, there has to be truth, because eventually people are going to disconnect if they cannot bond with you at a level that is beyond the surface. Someone was telling me that gone are the days of the fake life. People do not want the fake life anymore. People do not want to just see the glam, the house and everything. They want to know how you got there. They want to see your before and after. And they don't just want to see you with all the makeup. No, they want to connect with you. And that is really what's going to give you long-term influence, keep you pushing on your goals, keep you pushing on, because in that, even you're going to get authentic relationships, people who are going to be with you, who are going to strengthen you, who are going to be able to really be like they are your crew. Remember, we talked about the fact that in order for you to sustain success, action over time, you need meaningful relationships where people sustain you. And if people cannot feel like you're human, they're not going to hang around for long. And then you're not going to have much of a crew. If every time they come to your house, everything is, your hair is done, your this is this. I don't say anything is bad, but the truth is that let people know you, your ups, your downs, your weaknesses, your strengths. That's going to build authentic connection. And if you have a brand, you're going to be able to influence your people more. So that's the second thing, is that it's going to create you those authentic, lasting connections with the people around you, with the people that you're influencing. The third thing is that it's going to give people hope. Not only are they going to connect with you, but if someone knows that you overcame something and that they can overcome that too, it's going to give them hope. So think about that story. Think about the fact that somebody could listen to Tony Robbins' story and say, wow, if this person could be without food when they were 17 and they could still give, because at the age of 17, it's not because he says that he had a lot to give, but just because he was touched by someone, he said, I was going to give back. Sometimes people feel like, oh, I need to have a lot to give. No, you just need to have the little to share. You just have to have that willingness to share. So your story is going to give people hope. So I want you to really begin to think about who you are, the things you've overcome, the challenges you've overcome, because those are the things that are going to keep you long-term in the game. You're going to remember that I was in this place, I don't want to be there again. It's going to help you to be resilient. It's going to give somebody else hope. And then the fourth thing is that it's going to help somebody to take action. We're talking about taking action. If you say, oh, I used to be you did not used to be self-disciplined, I can say that about myself. but there's still so many layers of things that I can share. And I've given so many of my personal testimonies in the videos that I've been doing recently, talking about how I even got back to coming online to share, and, the process that, that took me, how I had that epiphany moment that, I have a unique shape, I have a unique set of giftings, abilities that I can share. And, that those transformatory moments that have happened in my life. But sharing those, I know that, someone out there can connect with that and be like, oh, if this girl could do it, then maybe I can do it. And I shared yesterday that someone said, I want to watch a video of somebody who is in their 30s and 40s, how they are taking action, how they are making things happen, because a lot of people have lost hope. So when you can give someone hope, rather than sitting and griping and saying, oh, I'm too old, I have lost this, I cannot do this, it's no longer my game. If you can influence one person, if you can influence two people, you've done amazing. You've done a lot, because there are people who are going to influence one, there are people who are going to influence 5, there are people who influence 10, there are people who are going to influence 1,000,000, billions. There's a talent, the one who had the one talent, he was still expected to sow his seed, to put his talent and get a result. So don't say, oh, I just have one talent. No, your one talent can be 2. It can multiply. So your story, the challenges that you've overcome is going to help another person to take action. Why? Because they know that they can come along, you can come alongside them. And you guys do this. So I want you to think about that in that way. And then the last thing is that it strengthens you. It strengthens you as a person and also your brand. So when I know that my story is affecting someone, even if it's one person, it gives me strength. I've received some messages from my friends, from people telling me that, wow, thank you so much for coming on there and sharing. I just thought, let me come out and share. But when you find out that you are influencing one person, 2 people, and these are not just, people who are just saying hi and that to please you. I had a friend who I had not spoken to for I don't know how many years. I had even forgotten that I had their number in my phone, and they came to my DM and they were like, thank you so much for sharing that story. I think it was one of the days on the Purpose Driven Challenge. Thank you so much. Another person at the end of the 40 days said, thank you for going through that 40 days. The person did not talk to me while I was going to the 40 days, but after the 40 days, the person sent me a message and saying that, wow, thank you for strengthening the body with that. I am silently watching in the back. So when you know that sharing your story is influencing and affecting someone else's life, it's going to strengthen you. You're going to know that I cannot give up. I cannot stay back in the place where I used to be. It's unacceptable. It's going to strengthen your brand. It's going to make you more authentic. It's going to make you more relatable. It's going to help you to last long in the game, because you're going to be able to tailor things to your uniqueness. So because of that experience of Thanksgiving that Tony Robbins had, he has been able to brand himself as one of the people who give so much food during Thanksgiving. And all the challenges and the struggles that he has faced, he's able to use those to continue to strengthen himself, to reinvent himself, to improve himself. I was watching a lady who was talking about an eyelash commercial, and she has one of the biggest brands where she sells online. And she was saying that how she got into the skincare and selling online is because she had so much trouble with her skin. And so she had to find ways to, have better skin, improve her skin. And that led her to start finding products, researching products, and then tailoring products that are going to be supportive to people with her skin type. And she has made massive success. There is power in your story. There's power in your unique brand. Remember, we are all unique. Our fingerprints are unique. But when we are able to share our unique story, our unique perspective with someone else, then we can come in partnership with someone else who is going through something similar, or who knows someone who is going through something similar, or, someone who has overcome that as well. We can really build authentic relationships, authentic connections, and that's going to help us to last long in the game. So do not be scared. I know it's challenging to share your story, to be vulnerable, but think about it. Just think about it. Just take time as this year is coming to an end to think about your story, your journey, and write down the things that you think that stand out to you. Just write down the things that stand out to you. Write down the things that you have overcome. Write down the successes, the lessons, the experiences. And when you do that, you're going to have clarity on the next step. You're going to have clarity. If you're even scared on sharing or being vulnerable with someone, just take time to process it. Think, listen to other people's stories, and write to me. I think I want to help people to share their unique story, because in doing that, we become much more powerful. We stand together. So that's really what was on my heart to share today. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, there is power in your story. There is power in evaluating your story and taking action to share that with someone, writing it down. If there are areas where, as you're writing it down, they still bring hurt, they still bring pain, those are things that you have to process and go through healing and go through transformation, so that when you stand to share, you're no longer bleeding. TG Jakes, I listened to him one time. He said, yes, there's a difference between being vulnerable and then bleeding. So sometimes you have to make sure that when you're being vulnerable, you're not bleeding. Because if someone out there, yes, they can know that you have that wound, they are going to cut it deeper. But the truth is that if you've healed and you're vulnerable, there's going to be life that is going to be released from that, the power of your story. So again, to summarize what I said, there's power in your story. Your story is your key for staying in the game in 2025. Listen to yourself, take time with yourself, process the things that you have overcome, the challenges, the struggles, your strengths, your weaknesses, how you've overcome. Write those things down, and then begin to think about how you can share that with someone, or how you can add value to the life of someone using your testimony. Because what it's going to do is that it's going to give you authentic connections with people. It's going to help you to really be resilient and to be steadfast in your resolve. I cannot go back there. It's going to give other people hope. It's going to help other people to take action. And then it's really going to strengthen you personally, and your personal brand. So that's really what I had on my heart to share today. I hope this has been great. Please let me know in the comment section one thing that you've taken out of this. One thing, just one thing that you've taken out of this. You could be, there's power in my story. Something, my story 2025, my story 2025, something. Just let me know what you got out of this. And please, I would like you to do me a favor and share the YouTube link of this video with someone. It's very dear to my heart, and I feel like someone needs to know that they are valuable, their story is powerful, and we need to share that story. So maybe in 2025, I'm going to be doing a collection of stories and just sharing them, because people need to be encouraged. People need to be challenged. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for watching. I will see you tomorrow on the next episode, day 6. We're pushing along. Get ready. Action 2025. And thank you so much for tuning in. Bye-bye.